Welcome to iEnhance Advocate. iEnhance Advocate is a platform for lawyers having less than 5 years of practice to deliver a lecture on law which is recorded and uploaded at our YouTube channel. Today we have with us Advocate Vidit Divya Kumath. He is going to speak on the Tilak tablet. The brief introduction of our speaker is Vidit Divya Kumath is an advocate associated with the Bar Council of Maharashtra and Goa. He has completed his law in BA LLB Honours from School of Law, Christ University, and he has completed his management in business administration in law from Narsi Monji College. So without further ado, I would like to call our speaker, Advocate Vidit Divya Kumath, to deliver his lecture. Thank you.
A very good morning to each and everyone present here. I am firstly very grateful to iEnhance Advocates for giving me this. Sir, can we do this again? Okay. Anyway, a very good morning, everyone. I am very grateful to iEnhance Advocate for giving me this opportunity of presenting and delivering my views on the Tilak tablet by giving out a panoramic view of the Tilak tablet. Before just jumping into the topic, I would like to give a brief account of who Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak was. Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak was born on the 23rd July 1856 at Ratnagiri. His real name was Balwant, but he was famously known as Bal. Tilak did his LLB from the Deccan College in 1879. But instead of obtaining a sanat, he started his own school where all the poor children in the state of Pune were invited, and it was called the New English School. Tilak died on the 1st of August 1920 at Sardar Gruha. At his funeral, which was attended by thousands of people, Mahatma Gandhi was one of the pallbearers. It was Vaman Rao Apte who invited Tilak and Agarkar, the two scholars of that time, to be a part of two newspaper publications by the name of Kesari and Maratha. Tilak rose to the position of editor of the Kesari in the year 1891. Very recently, while having a conversation with my friend about the new High Court building coming up in Bandra Kurla complex in Bombay here, I wondered if any structure can ever live up to the grandeur which the Bombay High Court encapsulates. Will it ever live up to the expectation of the honorable judges to a fresh law graduate who enters this historic monument? Located in close proximity to the landmark Flora Fountain, which is in the heart of the city's fort area, the Bombay High Court is a crucial monument of Gothic, forming a part of an ensemble of Gothic buildings along the Oval Maidan that form a very face of Bombay's historic core. The High Court was completed at a cost less than the original estimate and was designed by Lieutenant Colonel John Augustus Fuller of the Royal Engineers. Today, the Bombay High Court's is protected as an integral part of city's heritage and is listed as a Grade 2A heritage building under the heritage regulations enacted by the government of Maharashtra in 1995. The Bombay High Court has 3 tablets, and for all specific purposes, tablets here would refer to plaques. Okay, the Bombay High Court has 3 marble tablets fixed in the interior of the building. One is one which records the date, cost, history of the Bombay High Court's architecture. The second one is fixed at the wall outside the chamber long occupied by the greatest and the most distinguished advocate of the High Court, J.D. Inverarity. And the third, which is the topic of our discussion today, is the recently put up tablet in the outer wall of the central court and is of a political nature, as so believe. entirely out of place in a court of law, which is one side of arguments. But before jumping into that, I would like to lay a brief outline, a history of the Tilak trials. Tilak was tried 3 times for sedition. The first one being in 1897, then in 1908, and then in 1916 when he was acquitted. But the topic of today's lecture is going to be focusing on the first 2 trials, that is the one in 1897 and 1908. As the pandemic time is among us right now and we are in a pandemic situation, India was also under a bubonic plague raged in Pune. At that point of time, the government gave a lot of power to the military to go out there and see and check if there are any concealed cases of the plague which were not being brought out in public. But what the military did that time was a gore violation of human rights. To a large extent, Bal Gangadhar Tilak did not support the same, did not support the military's intervention too. And what the military did was they employed a vast majority of military personnel to visit the houses of inhabitants, to enforce disinfectants and hygienic measures, and also committed several human rights atrocities along the way. This is what caused intense discontent amongst the local population. On the 15th of June 1897, an article in the Kesari came out, which was edited by Bal Gangadhar Tilak. This article talked about the coronation of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj at Raigad in 1674. The same article contained a justification for the killing of Afzal Khan. This article was followed by speeches made by Tilak justifying the whole affair. And the article is titled, Did Shivaji kill Afzal Khan or not? To justify the same, Bal Gangadhar Tilak referred to a small part of the Gita, which talks about Nishkam Karma, or no blame attaches to any person if he is doing deeds without being actuated by a desire to reap the few fruits of the deeds. Maharaj Chhatrapati Shivaji never killed Afzal Khan for his own benefit or for his own profit. He killed Afzal Khan for the benefit of his population, his people. And according to Tilak, God has not conferred upon the foreigners a grant inscribed on a copper plate to our kingdom of Hindustan, because of which he was tried and convicted. It is after this trial that he gained the name Lokmanya, or beloved by the people. What is very interesting to note here is that just as soon as Tilak was released and was warned against not publishing any content in Kesari which can be seditious in nature, the same thing happened again in 1908 when he was tried before a special jury. Why do I say it's a special jury? Because it was a jury made up of Englishmen. A jury which did not understand what's written in Marathi, and this translation for the same was not adequate. A jury which could not feel with the current sentiment of the local population. The trial for sedition with respect to some articles wrote in the Kesari started in May and June 1908. But by a curious coincidence, and as the irony of history would have it, senior advocate Davar, who represented Tilak in the first trial, by now had rose to a position of a judge, before whom the second Tilak trial came up. What is also very interesting to note is the fact that in the first trial, Tilak was released on a bail bond of rupees 25,000, a very hefty sum at that time. He was given a very short period to pay the same. But there was this individual by the name of Dwarkadas Dharamse who procured the amount of bail for Tilak And going back to the irony now, Dwarkadas Dharamse, by that time with Justice Davar, had also rose to the position of Sheriff of Bombay. So the person who paid the bail amount and the person who represented Tilak are now the ones hearing his case during the second trial. Being a law graduate himself, Tilak defended himself, But at the same time, this trial too resulted in a conviction of 6 months. And the jury, by a majority of 7-2, returned a verdict of guilty. The judge sentenced Tilak to 6 years transportation and 1,000 rupees fine. It is at this point of time Tilak uttered these words which form the subject of our talk, and the words which are now inscribed outside the ceremonial court in Bombay. Just referring to the words now, Tilak said, "All that I wish to say is that in spite the verdict of the jury, I still maintain that I am innocent. There are higher powers that rule the destinies of men and nations. And I think it may be the will of Providence that the cause I represent may be benefited more by my suffering than by my pen and tongue." The judge also threw off a judicial restraint to some extent, which was observable in the charge of the jury. He condemned the articles as seething and sedition, and preaching violence, speaking of murders with approval. "You hail the advent of bomb in India, and if something had come to India for its good, I say such journalism is a curse on the country." Another short story or a historical background about this is that Justice Davar was given a celebratory dinner after this verdict came out. This dinner was attended by many legal luminaries by that time, but the one person who famously opposed attending this dinner was Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and he wrote very important and very crucial dissent towards the organization of this dinner. Justice Davar called Mr. Jinnah to his chamber then, and he asked him, "Mr. Jinnah, how have I treated you in court?" And Mr. Jinnah said, "You have treated me really well. Then why have you written such words about me in public?" And that is the time when Muhammad Ali Jinnah said that I will always stand for what is right. What is pertinent to note here is that Muhammad Ali Jinnah and Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak had a very prestigious friendship which that time stood for Hindu-Muslim unity. It was Muhammad Ali Jinnah who did represent Tilak in the third trial too. After 50 years, the words of Tilak, which are still uttered before a sentence was passed, lingered in the memory of later generations. My generation, the generation before me, have all seen or passed through these tablets in the Bombay High Court. But do we really know about the history of that? Do we really know what went behind the making and the establishment of the same? Honoring a now let me come to the controversy here. I wouldn't call it a controversy, but a difference of opinion. When Justice Iqbal Chagla was made the first Indian Chief Justice of the Bombay High Court, he invited a very senior advocate at that time by the name of P.B. Vacha to write an official history of the Bombay High Court till now, to encapsulate what all has happened, the people who have contributed to the Bombay High Court being an institution in itself. Senior advocate P.B. Vacha was very interested in doing the same, and he finished the first draft of it. But in the first draft, he made his views very clear in terms of the placing of that tablet in the Bombay High Court. According to him, honoring a patriot of a statue of Tilak with a statue or a memorable tablet is right and proper. But the question which we need to address and ask ourselves is, what are the courts of law a right and proper place for political or patriotic memorials or demonstrations? According to the view instilled by Mr. Vacha, a tablet of a political nature, a tablet which involved passing a judgment on previous verdicts, was placed beyond doubt by a speech of Chief Justice Chagla, and we'll come to that. That is one side of affairs. When he took this draft of the book that I am also referring to right now, he took this draft to Justice Chagla and he told him, this is what I want to write, And Justice Chagla said, these are your views to an extent because of what you have included about the Tilak tablet. He talked about how in the postscript to the chapter which talks about the Tilak trials is not something which we want to put out as the official history of the Bombay High Court because they represent your views. Senior Advocate P.B. Vacha at that time said, this is how the book is going to be and I am not going to be making any changes to the same. And because of that, from the official history of the Bombay High Court, the book was renamed to famous judges, lawyers and cases of the Bombay High Court. And it was also called P.B. Vacha's famous judges and lawyers of the Bombay High Court. While we are taking into consideration the two opposite views, and to a large extent, I have always fall on the side of what Mr. Vacha is saying. A recent conversation with my senior helped me realize the other side of affairs too. He told me a simple thing. He told me to look at the tablet from not the point of view of a litigant, but he told me to look at the tablet from a point of view of a judge. Because it is the judges who will have to take into consideration what the law is which is laid down, but also what the law is in terms of the social context of the times that we are living in. It is them who have to make a decision on issues which might not even be there in the law which is laid down, and that is why we are one of the countries which have our legal hold or a stronghold in terms of pillars inscribed in the basic structure of our constitution. To end my talk, I would just like to focus on these words which were spoken by Chief Justice Chagla at the inauguration of the tablet in the Bombay High Court. He said, "There is no honor and no distinction which I have valued more than the privilege of being able to unveil the tablet of Lokmanya Tilak's memory this morning. In this very room, on 2 occasions within the space of 12 years, Lokmanya Tilak sat in the dock as an accused, and on 2 occasions he was convicted and sentenced to a term of imprisonment. We have met here today to make atonement for the suffering that was caused by these convictions to a great and distinguished son of India. The disgrace tarnished our record, and we are here to remove the tarnish and disgrace. It may be said that those convictions were a technical compliance with justice, but we are here empathetically to state that they were a flagrant denial of substantial justice and what it stood for. He was sentenced for a crime of patriotism. He was sentenced because he loved his country more than the life or his liberty. Ladies and gentlemen, the verdict that our contemporaries passed on us, the verdict that our times passed on us, is not of much value. We must always await the inevitable verdict of history, and the inevitable verdict of history is that those 2 convictions are condemned as having been intended to suppress the voice of freedom and patriotism, and the action of Lokmanya Tilak has been justified as the right of every individual to fight for his country. Those 2 convictions have gone into oblivion reserved by history for all the unworthy deeds. The fame and the lustre of Tilak has grown and increased with the passage of time. And it is also the irony of human life that the inevitable verdict of history occasionally overtakes us sooner than we anticipated. Thank you.
So Vidit, it was a very interesting topic
Thank you.
because you know people come to this platform, they also speak on lot of what are laws, you know, sections, then particular case laws. It was really a very novel and a different kind of a topic on which you have spoken.
Thank you.
So thank you very much for being a part of Hammurabi Tablet family, and this is a small token from us to you.
Thank you.